Welcome, everyone, to the Winning Together podcast. You've got Shay, the soccer player Aslet, and you've got another coach online. You've got William, I can run you to the ground. Acreage, right?
Acreage, yeah.
Acreage, thank you. This is the Winning Together podcast, sponsored by Recovery, and you've got two college-level athletes getting our game on topics around recovery, connection, living strong, being authentic, integrous, honesty. I think also honoring your body has got to come up this, how you honor this vessel, this machine that you've been given. What are some themes that you want to hit on there today, William? Welcome, by the way, first time on the podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I think you hit a lot of them on the head. Honesty, probably mainly, and endurance, perseverance, and balance.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Just to paint a picture here, you've got this, you heard the accent, so from the South, I love it, rocking a pink bandana, sweet mustache. He's got the dog, he's got the truck, he's got it all, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So you're living here in the Utah area. You have connected with Iron Recovery through the avenue of becoming a coach through recovery. And let's start tell us who you are today and where are you going. And what we're going to do today is we're going to work our way backwards through this hero's journey you've been on in this story and pull out these applicable gems. Here we are insanely focused on what works. We don't care about talk just to talk. We talk to do. So we'll keep it insanely practical and applicable. But tell me, who are you today and where are you going?
Well, I am someone who absolutely loves my dog.
Dog's name?
Kona.
Kona, K-O-N-A.
That's right.
Okay.
So my family has 3 dogs. We have Kona, Kauai, and Maui.
Okay.
That's right.
How much time have you spent on the islands?
I think I've gone twice. I think my family's gone 3 times.
Okay.
They like to go cool places without me. So.
And with you.
Yeah, and with me.
So Big Island and Kauai? Where you've been?
We went to Kauai and Maui.
Okay.
I did, yeah.
All right. So what did you think of Kauai?
It's beautiful. And going to both of the islands, I thought, I don't think I would like the Big Island that much. It's very natural, and I feel like a little bit less touristy.
Okay.
And I love that. That's where I learned how to surf.
So Kauai was less touristy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And you learned how to surf up north?
Say again?
You learned to surf up in Honolulu Bay area or where?
I don't remember where. But I just remember that it was awesome. One of the coolest experiences of my life.
Right?
Yeah.
So this April, my family and I, we moved to Kauai for a month.
No way.
So we did all our work from there, school from there, everything, and we lived there for a month, and that's where I learned how to surf too.
That's awesome.
So we have a strong affection for that as well. Mm-hmm. I love that. Okay. You're an island boy, huh?
That's right.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I've grown up, I could not believe I was born on the mainland to these people who want to stay here. I was supposed to be on an island somewhere, but the more I go, the more I connect, and the more I love it here too. So you get that both. Okay. So you got Kona, and you family strong, connections, right? So tell me a little about your family. And
so my family is back on the East Coast. My mom is moving out of her house and trying to figure out where God's telling her to go at the moment. My youngest brother just became a Marine, and my sister married a Marine. So they're both in, I forgot the name of that base out there, the Marine base out there, but they get to be very close together and see each other all the time.
Is the one out there in Savannah?
No, it's in North Carolina.
Okay.
And then my other sister, the one that's directly below me, is CNA in Nashville, who just got a job working at an Edward Jones office, which is where my dad worked.
No kidding.
Financial advisor office.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Helping people physically with their health and financially with their health.
Mm-hmm. That's
okay.
right.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And what are you doing? Where is your life going?
So right now I work part-time here, finishing up training and shadowing, and I work part-time in Midvale, Murray area as a therapist for kids with autism. God's just really opening up a lot of doors for me to share my story. Like this Wednesday, sharing at I Am Recovery's event.
Yeah, you're one of our upcoming guest speakers at our arena talks.
I'm fired up about that, man.
Yeah, you are. I can tell. Yeah. Is this how big is this event, speaking event for you? Have you done speaking events before? And we only approached it this month, so it's kind of coming fast.
Yeah. No, but I'm so used to sharing my story. I think it's kind of second nature.
Doesn't matter if it's 9 or 90, right?
Yeah. I've shared my story to groups before, but never at like an event.
Okay.
So I'm super excited about it.
Well, and this is all about manifesting. So tell me about another. You got also asked to speak up some upcoming gigs, right?
That's right.
I have possibilities.
I have a friend who is setting up these events for. She said she has 14 middle schools in this area that she wants to bring to this event, which is she's going to have a concert, and then me and a couple of other people are going to just speak about our experience with drugs and alcohol and how they grabbed us by the throat, pinned us up against the wall, and how we wiggled out. And they're also going to have therapists there for afterwards for a kid to come up and be like, hey, man, I've been doing drugs and I'm starting down this path and I want to turn away, but I don't know how. And so I told her about this job here, what I do here, and she's also got a magazine that she wrote an article about me. I sent them, that group, a like 7-minute video just talking about myself and where I'm coming from. And she watched the video and like scripted it, typed out every single word that I said. And
wow.
Put it in her magazine called Overcomers Magazine.
No joke.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I like that name, Overcomers. Because, when you're saying that your adversity pinned you against the wall and you wiggled out of it, I think if you've done a little bit more than that, you've had the chance to punch it back in the throat and put it in a chokehold at times as well. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal.
Yes.
As we're talking, your smile's huge. Your eyes are lit up. You're a handsome guy. You're charming. You're smart. Mm-hmm. And your sense of purpose and direction is pretty undeniable. And I think that really lends some light to who you are as a person. And so tell me a little bit about how you light yourself up. So spiritually, physically, mentally, how do you generate that energy that you're giving today? So, what I mean by that is, you're an athlete, so there's physical things you do to take care of that. You're a collegiate graduate all the way, or not finished, okay? So, but you went to college. You were an athlete there. So you've got the mental training. You spiritually, I think you've always had a connection with the divine. Whether you're angry and hate the creator or you love it, it's still the same side of the coin. There's still a connection. You're still believing that someone is there to hear me tell them I hate them, or I'm angry with them, or I'm very grateful, or I love you. So that connection seems like that came way before this life and is really, it's like a steel beam inside you of just keeping you erect and upright?
Yeah, that is very recent. God has been calling me to him, and I've just been saying, look at all the bad things that you've done to me and my family. Why would I want to be close to you? Why would I want to follow you? And it's only been in recent months that I've surrendered and realized that all of the things that me and my family have been through or been for a very specific purpose. And that is very slowly starting to become clear to me. But I also know that all of these amazing things, opportunities that God is putting in front of me are not a fraction of what he has for me to come, which is mind-blowing to me, because I'm so excited to talk to these kids, man. I'm so excited to talk to everyone on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I love public speaking, dude.
I can tell. Yeah.
I freaking love it.
And you got a gift for it.
Most of my like public speaking outside of college, because I took that class as much as I could, outside of college has been like kind of family stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like my parents' 25th anniversary, they reset their vows. I don't ever plan or prepare or write down an outline or anything, because I don't want to talk. I want the words that come out of my mouth to be from the Lord. I want people to just see him in my eyes and hear him in my voice. And I don't want to get in the way of that, because I'm pretty good at doing that too. And when I'm the boss, when I'm in charge, or when I think I am and try to be, real bad things happen.
Okay. There's one of these quotes that's come up, and it's from Martin Luther, or one of the reverends of the, Renaissance there in the 1800s. He said, I love to light myself on fire and let people watch me burn. Mm-hmm. I get that impression that I'm going to light myself on fire, and we're going to like talk, and I'm going to bring some real pure knowledge to an experience and wisdom for anybody who's willing and open to receiving it.
Absolutely.
Now you're in your mid-20s?
24.
Okay, so right there, mid-20s. So let's go from getting to here. You had some circumstances brought you here to the Salt Lake area from South Carolina, mm-hmm. by way, from Tennessee by way of South Carolina, right? Okay. Tell me a little about college years. How was college, and what did you do there?
College had a lot of fun. There was I got to run cross country and track on scholarship for a NCAA Division II school. I like traveling with the team, working out with the team, and then going to class with my team is just, you just spend all day with these people. It's a really cool, I know it's pretty similar with, my dad would always say, anybody that you bleed, sweat, and cry with become your brothers. Mm-hmm. And but with cross country, I think there was a special kind of bond there, because it's every single day. It's excruciating. It's brutal. And we would run 60, 70 80 miles a week and for some reason do it again the next week. I love cross country because I played basketball and soccer in high school, and I love those sports. Those sports are against, you're competing against other people, which is awesome. But cross country and track, you are a much bigger opponent than the people that you're racing against. And I love challenge. I don't really like running that much. It's just so hard, and you have to be better than yourself every week. I think that it requires more heart than other sports do. So that's.
Well, and you picked the particularly torturous event of the 800 to be one of your specialties, right?
That's right. I did. I wanted to do that one because it is generally agreed upon to be the hardest event in track. It's literally just sprinting for half a mile. I love doing that too.
What? Picking the hardest things and doing well at them?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Finding undervalued assets and making them valuable.
Yeah. Yeah, you get to know yourself a lot better too.
Oh yeah.
You get to dig down and I mean, I guess I was God was preparing me to come into recovery.
Well, I was going to ask you, how does the mental development you developed in that individual sport? So you see a similar psyche, with wrestlers, maybe high performing skiers or swimmers as well. But what are the mental tools or skills that you have that are serving you today? Now, years removed from your college experience and, we'll call it professional, but your collegiate training, what mental game do you still run to be happy and fulfilled?
I would say a large part is just perseverance, and then for self-forgiveness, I guess a little bit of balance. So obviously you need perseverance to run any distance.
Again and again and again,
right.
And again.
The self-forgiveness part is no one PRs every time they run.
Totally.
Nobody runs faster than they did last time every time. In the beginning, I would be so frustrated and confused. Like, I know that I dumped my heart out on the course just now, and I was 30 seconds slower than last time. How could you piece of shit? You're horrible.
This is the self-talk that's going inside you.
Right. And the next time, that was my self-talk during the race. I try to beat myself into running faster. And believe it or not, that didn't really work. So I had to learn to encourage myself, which was a very foreign
totally
thought
still
process.
Is. Still is.
Oh, it's difficult. Still,
yeah,
absolutely.
I can see it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Was that from coach, or was that something you came to on your own? Because your dad, I don't think, spoke to you cruelly like that, and your mom didn't either.
No.
And so this is something you came up with, or came from somewhere, or both. Either way.
Yeah. So it came from my dad's mom. I have a hard time calling her
She's not family.
Yeah. She's not family. So my dad's mom is very physically, emotionally, and sexually abusive. She would do that when my parents weren't in the room.
And this is a prestigious family counselor type person.
Right.
Yep.
incredibly intelligent, knew the human mind very well. So she found out where to dig her claws in and did. The reason I'm talking about this, Shay, is because it's hard to talk about. I told you before, I can talk about, I can say it's really important to be honest and be open, and leave it at that. Everyone in my family is a leader, and the best leaders lead by example. So that's why I'm opening up and talking to you about this.
And, when we were getting ready, I said, hey, man, it's not about you. It's about somebody needs to hear what you need to say. And how many people do we know in our sphere who are athletes who beat themselves up and shred themselves? It's not even their voice. And we've learned bullying yourself and belittling and demeaning and getting angry and using that for fuel is useful in certain ways. We've also learned that overall, those type of athletes, although they may achieve some level of high performance, it's usually not not a long duration, and their rest of their life is chaotic. And you and I are here because we want a healthy, integrated, whole, fulfilling life, period. Man, I'm an athlete. I saw coaches, the way they talked, parents, how they would talk on the sidelines, and how even kids, I've coached kids at 8, 10, the way they talk to themselves is not acceptable because it's so belittling and demeaning.
Absolutely. So
coming back to the voice, and this voice, you're just shredding yourself to perform better.
I really thought that voice was serving me. It felt like it was. I started to realize that it was bleeding out outside of sports. And my dad's mom really attacked my intelligence. That's where she came after me. I am dyslexic and have ADD.
No kidding.
And so high school was, I never did homework, I never studied, and was fine. And then got to college, and I was really, really struggling.
Got your AWS whooped, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And so that was...
Well, dyslexia comes with its own kind of shame. It's unique kind of shame.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's if you're a college athlete, you got sports and school, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And so all day I'm just berating myself, telling me that...
That's right, because it's going into school, in the classroom too. It's the same voice.
Mm-hmm. It's all day long. And I'm also trying to deal with...
Wow, what an interesting insight. It is all day long.
At
a high level.
Yeah. I'm also, at this point, I'm starting to realize that drinking every night.
This is in college, first, second year of college?
This is starting like 3 months in my first year of college.
High school was drinking on the weekends? Or
very
infrequently?
Very end of the senior year.
Okay.
I somehow was kind of goody two-shoes in high school, which is funny to me now. But it's an all-day thing, and I'm drinking all the time because that'll fix it. And I'm starting to realize at this point that I'm not there for my family who's suffering, which adds to the shame. And
because this time your dad's got cancer treatment going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that's just kind of progressively getting worse. That voice is getting louder because I'm reinforcing it every single day, all day, every single day. And so with that...
So in the 3 years of your life, sport, school, and family, you're shaming. So whatever good is coming out, it's coming with a huge dose of shame at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly. So I just keep partying and staying up all night and then getting up at 4 to go work out. And working out in the morning, going to school, going to practice, going to dinner, and drinking until I passed out, and waking up and doing it all again. My body suffered. Eventually, I tore a ligament in my hip, had to get hip surgery, and obviously prescribed some pain pills for that. Everything fell perfectly into line in one moment. I found my answer. Ran through a 30-day prescription in less than a week.
So when you say everything fell in line, this is where narcotics really came to your aid. I mean, it was the key that opened the lock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I came back from that surgery ready to go to practice, and my doctor had called my coach and told him that if I continued running, I would have to have a hip replacement by the time I was 30. And my coach just immediately kicked me off the team. So
Out of love.
Absolutely. I totally made the right call.
You said your coach was one of the best of the best.
Mm-hmm. He was an incredible coach. Called me on my shit, and somehow he was like a mom, dude. He knew everything. We were at a Christian school, so we had to be very secretive about our parties, where we partied, and he knew the next day every time somehow. I don't know if he gave some extra scholarship money to have some spies or what, but he knew, and he called me on my shit. And I was mad at him, and I thought he was an idiot. Man, I wish I would have listened to him.
You couldn't imagine not being rebellious at that time, huh?
Mm-mm. No, that's been deeply rooted in who I am for most of my life.
Yeah.
Like most of us addicts.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that I was just drinking in college and not doing drugs was because we were getting drug tested by the NCAA and by our conservative Christian school. So I didn't have an excuse anymore. And I really dove in. My father, from the time I was about 16, 17, every year he would get cancer, have an invasive surgery, do chemo.
Was it almost like every calendar year?
It was
almost like clockwork?
It was every single, so 9 times.
Wow.
In 9 years. So he constantly had a large amount of oxycodone. He was so well respected and cared about in our community that when he would run out, the doctors would be like, that just means that Mark's in extreme pain. And it made sense with all the surgeries that he had. He was also an amputee. He constantly had an incredible amount of all kinds of different pain pills. I would steal them, and he wouldn't know it because he was too out of it. And he would go to them and be like, hey, it's been 3 weeks and I'm out. And they would be like, here you go. Here's another prescription. I'm so sorry, in so much pain, Mark. So there's a good 2 years that I was taking them, I started selling them to get money to see if there were any other great answers out there in substances. Tried just about all of them. Any kind of opiate fixed it for me. I was so overwhelmed, man. So scared my dad was going to die. Our family was going to be left in ruins.
You said you were the mom and the dad for a period of time because your mom was really there he was demanding all of her energy and effort. So you're raising the family, mm-hmm. Late teens, late 20s too, right?
Yeah. In those first few years,
I guess you hit college at 18, didn't you? So that's where that shame was coming in, where you weren't there to help out.
Yeah. I was my freshman year of college. I was 17.
Okay.
So, and I went to school. The reason I had 2 schools that offered me scholarships, and this school was 30 minutes from my house. So that's one of the bigger reasons I chose that school, so I could be close. And I thought I was there for my family in college. I think I was in high school helping get rides, make sure everybody goes to practice. My sisters did a good job of making sure that we were fed. So it wasn't all me, but I feel like I played a big role, especially in emotional support in the beginning. And then I thought I was when I was there with them, but I was blacked out talking to them. So that really...
So doing this, you're building this huge iceberg of shame. It's all by stealing your dad's pills, who you admire and respect your dad, and you're doing what you're doing because you're looking for some answers too.
That's right. So I'm going down to see my girlfriend at the time at the beach. My dad, I think he used it once and hated it and was going to throw him away, but got to the point where his tolerance was so high that he couldn't take enough pills to touch the pain anymore.
Without getting sick or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they prescribed him fentanyl patches.
Wow.
And I thought I was being real smart and real safe. I got a hold of one of those, and I was like, I know if I put this, because I wasn't, eventually my dad and mom kind of caught on, they got a safe. So my brother, who I introduced and started to pull into this lifestyle with me.
Oh, wow.
Starting at the age of 13. Me and him every time they left the house, we just scour their room to try to find the key. And we'd find the key and then get enough to not be noticed and put everything back the way it was. My parents were out of town for like 4 days or something like that. My brother and me more so than my brother. My brother said I was high for 4 days straight, and I didn't sleep somehow, which is interesting to me because I'm a downer dude. I don't know how people take uppers. It's confusing to me. Stayed up for 4 days and then got a hold of that patch. You know, it's never enough. So I'm high for those 4 days, but not satisfied. That hole somehow isn't filled with all the pills that I'm pouring down it. So I decided to step it up, cut the patch up because I'm smart and safe, put it on me and realize it doesn't take effect till 24 hours. So I just get frustrated, pop some more pills all night, wake up in the morning, and because I've been high all night, I forgot about it. So for my drive, I need to take a few more pills. I go to get in my car and everything hits me at the same time. Pass out in a position that cuts off circulation to my arm and both my legs, in that position for about 10 hours. My baby brother, 6 years younger than me, found me, barely breathing, and called the ambulance. I get in the ambulance, and my kidneys and my liver shut down, so they decided to airlift me to Greenville Memorial. And in the helicopter, I died twice. They bring me back with the defibrillator. Get there, and they tell my parents for 2 days that I'm alive, but I have a disease from lack of blood flow that's rapidly atrophying and eating my muscles, and I'm not going to make it. There's an organization down there called Favor, and they have people that sit in the hospital, and they wait for people to overdose so they can come and be like, hey, we have AA meetings, we have refuge recovery meetings, we have smart recovery meetings. Let me tell you about them, or let me tell you how we can help you get into treatment if you want. And so that the lady that was working there that night came up to come and talk to me, and the nurse stopped her at the door and said, there's no point. He's going to be dead tomorrow. And my mom sat by my bed for 2 days and begged God for my life.
Just like she had for your dad.
Exactly.
For months. And now her son's in the same spot.
Exactly.
By choice.
By choice, which is very different. This disease ravaged my body during those 2 days, and I had no muscle in my left arm, both my legs. They said this disease that you have is going to, or they told my parents this, is going to keep eating your muscles until it gets to your heart, and then you're gone. Shay, on the right side of my chest, I have a hole in my pectoral muscle, where that disease got
It
to.
reached that close.
Still, right here, you can feel my rib cage.
Wow.
That's how close. I died, and God gave me my life back, and this disease was still trying to kill me, and he stopped it right before. A couple months before this happened, this comes from my anger at God, which I would always tell people I'm not angry at God, I'm just confused. But that's because I love people so much. I hate being angry so much, Shay, that I was just in denial.
Yeah, because yeah.
There's one
With
day.
a capital D.
There's one day I worked, ironically, was helping this guy build a winery. And while I was working, this is when I started talking out loud. I started talking out loud to little rodents and the grass and
So
the
we had to
weeds.
process it, right?
And the bugs that I was working with in the field that I was clearing. And so then I just started talking out loud to God too. And I challenged him. And I said, I bet you can't break me. And so he stepped back and he shattered me. All of this, the story that I'm telling, everything that I've done to myself, is the best thing that's ever happened to me. This is what it took. After this overdose, Shay, 3 months of me laying in bed, feeling like I'm being electrocuted because of the neuropathy, I'm thinking, man, I messed up. I need to be more careful when I take drugs. It takes me 3 months to be like, I'm kind of getting the feeling like I'm a drug addict. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But that's how baffling and cunning this disease is.
Well said.
So I spent 3 months doing physical therapy just so I can walk with a cane without falling over all the time. And everything.
Did you have people come visit you, or was this a time where you were truly alone?
There was 2 people, my 2 friends. That when I overdosed, all my good friends were my party friends. When I overdosed, they vanished immediately. It was amazing. It hurt so bad at the time, but I just found out I have 2 friends. Their names are Evan and Caleb. And
real quick, as you're saying that, I don't get any judgment from you anymore. Like they're released. Like you don't feel anything towards it anymore. Just it was what it was, and it is what it is.
Yeah, it needed to happen.
Yeah.
In my life, I wish all of them the best. I'm not angry. Certainly not angry at them now. But I'm grateful to know for a fact now that it doesn't matter what I do going forward for the rest of my life. I know that Evan and Caleb will always be
Caleb.
Caleb, yeah.
My guy from my college soccer days is Brandon Flack. I know I can always go to him forever.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing. It's the best. So you've got 2 friends, and you decide to allow the possibility that you're getting exactly what you asked for.
If I thought I struggled, if I thought I had a lot of shame before, this was a whole nother level. And my time with them kind of helped me get some perspective, just coming from the guys interacting with each other. All 3 of us have some pretty dark places that we've come from, so our sense of humor is very dark. And so them like digging into me for being a drug addict who paralyzed himself, hearing those words out loud, I started to be like, okay, yeah, that is a little bit ridiculous, because obviously they're joking with me, but that's what I'm seriously telling myself in my head, that I'm just a worthless piece of shit drug addict. And so that's where that all kind of started, coming back. And I had to find something that time where the shame was crushing me, the pain was crushing me. I needed to be able to look into the future and find some hope, because I had lost everything in my mind and I had nothing to be grateful for. I love telling the story of how I pulled myself out of that in the hospital, where I realized that it's where I started to think, okay, this way of thinking has led me here. So I don't know what the answer is. I know it's not that. So I'm going to do the opposite of that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so I
know that place.
I'm thinking, it's an incredible place. It's the beginning.
It's the beginning.
So I think I have nothing. I've lost everything. I went from being a college athlete with giant thighs that I was very proud of, because I finally got the teardrop,
I do.
And so, and that was gone. My leg went from looking like that to I could wrap my hand around my thigh and all of my fingers can touch.
It's like smaller than your bicep, or as like a bicep size.
It was the size of what my bicep was, and my bicep was bone. My whole arm, you could see every single bone and tendon in my hand.
Wow. The atrophy, so significant, so fast.
Absolutely. And that's especially as a man, fully emasculated me.
Totally.
And all of what I thought were really good friends are gone. I felt very alone. I had realized in the hospital what I put my mom through. As a child, like, back-talking her and making her upset broke my heart. But this was different. That was very heavy. All of those things just made it feel like I had lost absolutely everything. Also, I was hopeless. There's a girl who was 2 years younger than me, I think, and her mom had overdosed. I dipped, like, chewing tobacco from the time I was 14 until my surgery, and I got kicked off the team, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to start smoking. So I smoked cigarettes all day, every day, but then I couldn't even, like, roll myself out in a wheelchair because I couldn't move or feel my left arm.
Left hand, right.
So this girl would come, somehow we made friends. She would come into my room every few hours and she would roll me out. And it's a no smoking
Totally
campus. So we would go park ourselves in the corner of the parking garage and smoke as many cigarettes as we could, and talk. And so she told me about her friend who ironically had lost both of his legs. She said that
from drug abuse.
Now that I've talked to a couple of medical professionals, I think it was IV drug use that ended up. Don't remember how it works, but my buddy says that it is a frequent occurrence. And she said, I watched him go from my best friend to the most miserable and hateful person that she knew. And she said, I love him, but I can't spend time with him. And as she was telling me about him, I was like, holy shit, I relate to him. So that's how I feel on the inside. I'm miserable. I'm angry. I'm thinking, why me? Why did this happen to me? Because I did it to myself, but obviously didn't have the maturity to realize that.
Right.
But I thought, that's not who I want to be. I don't, like, ignoring all of this. If all of this somehow magically comes back and I'm back to normal, then I don't want to be that person. And I feel like I'm heading towards being miserable.
You knew you were headed that way for sure, because you were headed that way before this happened.
Yeah, absolutely. So I thought, what's the opposite of why me? The conclusion I came to was gratitude. But I was like, okay, I feel like that's the answer, but I got nothing. I lost everything. I have nothing to be grateful for. Despite the fact that my family was coming in to see me and were loving on me and encouraging me, I just, for whatever reason, I couldn't see that at the time. So I thought, all right, I'm going to adopt my dad's attitude and be like, no matter what happens, I'm going to find something and I'm going to be grateful for it, no matter how big or small. Without drugs, before drugs and alcohol, I'm very like adrenaline, adventurous. Let me find the highest thing over water and let me sprint off of it. So I've spent a lot of time in hospitals. And so my hospital drink is ginger ale. And Greenville Memorial, if you are ever going to go to a hospital, go to that one because their vanilla pudding that they have there is out of this world. I don't know where they get it from. They don't make it. It's just in one of the little like snack pack like containers.
It's huge, by the way. That hospital is huge.
It's ginormous.
Yeah, huge.
And wonderful, wonderful people work there. God very specifically placed amazing, amazing nurses, CNAs, and doctors in my path in that hospital, and physical therapists who were pivotal, more so in healing my mind than my body. But I would ask every 30 minutes to get a ginger ale and a pudding cup. And I learned then, because I had to make it, I had to make that can and that cup my world.
Yep.
Because everything outside of that can and that cup was miserable and dark and extremely painful. So every time that the nurses and CNAs would bring me my little snack, I lit up and I just like doted on them and was so thankful, because I was like, I have to be the opposite. So I'm so thankful. I acted like that these people were bringing me life-saving medicine.
Like you just hit 158 on your 800 race.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing how you had trained yourself to celebrate victories, big or small, for years.
That's right.
Going into this. Mm-hmm. So you had the training to put together the tactic that you can start leveraging.
That's right. I hadn't thought of that. But I started to watch the effects of my gratitude on other people. A couple of nurses and CNAs would linger in my room, and so I would ask them about it, and they would go, you know what, William, this guy next door, he's not as bad off as you are. He's going to be fine, and he's being a dick to everyone who walks in the room. But every time I come in here and just give you a whatever snack, you treat me...
Soda and a snack pack.
Yeah. You treat me very special, and you treat me with kindness. And so I was like, okay, so when I'm grateful, it brings out kindness in me, and then it brings out gratitude in other people. And so this is infectious. And that eventually brought me to the conclusion of there's got to be a reason that this hurts this bad on the inside and on the outside. And it's not about me. That I'm not going through this pain to benefit me one day. This pain has progressed and transformed as I got my legs cut off to totally different kinds of pain, different levels of pain. And I'm so grateful for it. With every new challenge, I realize there's someone else that I can directly relate to. You can relate to someone and be like, yeah, I've also felt that emotion, but never been through what you've been through. And I've had experience, obviously, with drugs and alcohol, with self-harm, with being molested, now with with being homeless. There's not many very intense, dark things that happen in our society that I haven't experienced.
Suicidal thoughts?
After my overdose, that girl who I was going to go see, we were supposed to get married at the end of the year, and she texted me and broke up with me in the hospital. And then at that point, I was like, I don't want to live anymore.
Does my life need me anymore?
Yeah. I don't want to, this is too much for me. I can't do it. And how amazing is that, Shay? Now I get to now go talk to and counsel these middle school kids who are starting to dabble in all of these different things, starting to experience all these different things. And I get to say, I know exactly what you're feeling right now. Every piece of it.
Well, and adults who are in a state of arrested development too, because as you point out, you start using drugs, a lot of times that's where your emotional progress gets arrested. Mm-hmm. And for you to meet them where they're at and help them understand this is how you go from A, it's not A to B, it's A to not A. That's how you get there. Mm-hmm. It's A to not A. That's where we're going to go. So I'll help you. I'll show you not A. Well, I can tell you, talking to you, and you ought to be able to feel this through the audio. You have a big smile on your face, and it's with your eyes. So it's not just your face, and you're not saying it because anybody's watching. This is the feelings and emotions you're generating as you're talking about now at this stage of the game called William's life. I am a college runner who now does not have legs below your knees, correct? Mm-hmm. My left arm is not what it used to. I asked you this earlier. I think you're a handsome guy. You're charismatic. I think getting girls was never a problem. And I don't think that's a change really, but it's a different game. It's like making friends as an adult. It's just a different thing.
Yeah. Being an amputee is very interesting in the way that people treat me. And I've come to understand that seeing me is the first time that most people have seen someone without legs. So working with kids with autism, dude, is amazing. It's generally, it's like they had a meeting and they all decided that what I have is called robot legs. Because every time the first kid, they walk up to me, and generally kids don't have a sensor, but kids with autism
particularly
literally have absolutely no filter.
Got a bunch of little Draxes around you.
Exactly. So I get to, I think, connect. I think they see, at least I hope they do, that like different and have, it's hard for me to even say it's a disadvantage because not having legs.
You don't feel that way at all?
Absolutely not. But I feel like it helps me connect with them, which is awesome. The way that I've been able to connect with adults is very interesting too, because people will, a lot of times people will, like, ask you what's wrong, but they're not asking you what's wrong. They're trying to open up a door for them to be like, oh, well, what happened to me was.
Totally.
So at first I started to see it like that. People come up to me and be like, what happened when you lost your legs? And I start telling them, overdosed, and then trying to come. And before I can finish my story, they go into the worst thing that's ever happened to them physically. And some of these things, Shay, are like, yeah, I had a concussion one time. I was unconscious for 2.5 days. Yeah, I also broke my leg one time. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? That's not even, I've broken bones. I've had concussions. It's not as bad as this.
Are we relating right now? Is that what we're doing here?
And then
Person.
Exactly. And then I realized, Shay, what other scenario would there be for a complete stranger to walk up to someone and tell them and be vulnerable and tell them, this is the most difficult thing that I've ever gone through, in the very first sentence that they say? That doesn't happen. So I was like, I'm so sorry, God, that I've been looking at this so selfishly. He opened my eyes and showed me, hey, these people know that you know the pain that they went through. And other people probably don't. Or even if they try to, they don't. And these people know you know pain. And so they come up to you to share so that you can meet them and be like, I'm sorry. I know in my head and my heart that hurt you and that was difficult for you to go through. Thank you for sharing that with me. Thank you for meeting me here in this vulnerable place.
Yeah, you're like the Superman of validation now. And being able to validate and let them know that. And since you give off no self-pity and self-anything, they know they can trust you. It's like immediately. You know, as far as your dad worked so hard for financial planning and the basis of it all is trust.
Absolutely.
That's where it starts.
Wow.
And now they know that you've got that, and you got it in a few months instead of a few years.
I never thought of that. That's amazing. Yeah.
You know, I had a life-changing moment with a movie called The Peanut Butter Falcon. Have you ever seen that movie?
It's an incredible movie.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it,
absolutely watch it.
If you want to remind yourself that you're a person that matters on this planet, then watch that show. Mm-hmm. And the moment when Shia LaBeouf character, the guy says, well, you know I'm Down syndrome, right? And he just looks at him and is like, I don't care. Mm-hmm. And since that moment, I've had that attitude with anybody around me. I don't care that you're pretty, tall, short, you have legs, you don't have legs, I don't care. I just don't care. I'm going to go there with you. You will get my best, and I expect the best from you. Let's go.
I've seen it, Shane. I appreciate that about you so much. I was telling my mom and my sister that yesterday, that there was a client whose first day it was, and we're doing a physical activity that they're not participating in, and you, on their first day, said, why are you being so and I struggle with confrontation a lot. I shy away from it 99% of the time. When you said that, I wanted to crawl out of the room.
Really?
It made me so uncomfortable. But I sat through it and watched him break down. And as you were just laying into him, he finally blurted out the real issue.
Oh, I remember the exact moment you were talking. Yep. And he was uncomfortable too.
Yeah. And you kind of pushed him farther into that, which led him to come out and be like, this is the problem right here. And then now you're like, all right, there we go. Let's address it.
Yep.
I admire you so much for that, Shane.
I remember that because it was a yoga class, and they're like, I don't do that. What the real heart was, they hated their body.
That's right.
And as soon as you could see them admit it, it's like, okay, now we know what's what. And since it comes from a place of love, just like yours does, you can go there. People will go there with you because I don't care. I love you the same, and I expect you to give your best.
Absolutely.
Because you and I are here. It's change or die.
Absolutely.
That's it.
And
that's all. If you don't have time for that, go Mickey Mouse wherever you want to go Mickey Mouse around, but it ain't here. That was a life changer for me. And then another, I remember, related to one gal. She's like, I love your yoga classes because you don't just like take it easy on us because we're in recovery. You expect us to do it hard. And since then, all my classes are geared to make it perfectly safe and uncomfortable for you. I am so impressed with your poise, your articulation. I know this is something you're working on. You are intelligent. That's just a fact. And I also want to notice you for being street smart. There's a way, and a lot of people who have an affinity for alcohol are very good at seeing people and doing the whole people emotional side of it. You're very intelligent that way. Very intelligent. You're well-spoken. I'm excited for, the hard that's coming for you. You're doing a certification program. When I go into tests, I get as well. And I'm so proud of you to use all those skills to like move forward. And this is why we start the podcast about where you are and where you're going. Because in that moment, talking with that girl, and I can see the day. I can see the parking garage. I can see she had blonde hair.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I can see her talking to you. I can see in the wheelchair. I can hear the cicadas. I can hear how dark it is with all or not dark, how the sun's out, but it's so humid. It looks like it's a kind of hazy. And you're just smoking away, and you're seeing now 10, 20 years down the road. I'm like, oh, I am not an unhappy person. And I told myself I'm never going to be like those people. And now I'm put the choice. You either have to change or you're going to end up that way. And to see you now decide that you want to live, and not just live, but be alive in your life. That is all that matters, is being alive in your life.
Not just live, but have live a fulfilled life, which is difficult for people in recovery. But
Can we just call it out? Like, it doesn't matter if you're doing drugs or not. What if you lose a husband to cancer? Yeah. Or you are getting divorced and now you got to raise kids? Or your parents are awful and now you got to, bury them? Whatever it is, we all go to that. That's what I love about why you're here at this place, is recovery is for everybody.
My mom all the time says that, and my mom absolutely has no, addiction, anything. And she always says every single person should do 12 steps.
Totally.
It's a great way to check yourself on a daily basis and improve yourself and shed the nasty.
It's a practice. And I've been to that place where it's ginger ale and vanilla pudding. I've been to that place where you got to get so small and do big things in small ways. And in that way, you had to make your future, which is bigger than your past. At that moment, it was ginger ale and vanilla cups. And then once you start there, if you learn how to do it there, you can do it when you've got $100,000 and you got a house. It doesn't matter. You start there and you grow and you grow and you grow, making your future bigger than the past. And then your suffering becomes a story, and your hardship and your pain becomes a purpose. I mean, just for you to talk about the way you have these gifts now that this has given you, I want to honor you for the grief that you've worked through too. That's incredible.
Thank you.
I think that's where a lot of people get stuck.
Yeah. Well, my father passed away finally last Christmas. I let it lead me to a relapse earlier this year. And then it's crazy, relapse is crazy because it brings you back.
This one didn't taste good, did it?
Dude, the shame was at the same level. I've worked for a year and a half to quote unquote conquer it, and made great progress and really good friends with myself, and then try to push down the pain of losing my father, my Superman, start smoking weed because it's just weed, and it's back. I'd time traveled 2 years.
Full frontal.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling all this shame and not really realizing it, talking to myself like I would never talk to any human being alive, no matter what they did. Treating the people around me horribly. And what's funny? I think I told Chris this. You kind of mentioned this too. So I'm on Instagram, and I'm high as a kite, and I'm scrolling, and I see this video, and all it is just this girl saying, choose your hard. She says, it's hard to go to the gym, and it's hard to be obese. It's hard to if you're in school, it's hard to do your homework, and it's a lot harder when you don't graduate, and I can absolutely testify to that. And then I go to the page, And this, like, you have your algorithm on Instagram of all the stuff that you like, and you
bet.
And this came from like a sorority Instagram page, or just a bunch of like airhead white girls saying, like, doing makeup tutorials, and this video is just planted in the middle of this. But while I was watching it, it like deeply spoke to me. Yeah. God just let it penetrate deep down in my heart. And I looked at where it came from. I was like, dude, you're not paying attention if you don't think God has a sense of humor. And then I dove right back into IOP. And IOP, my pastor also does flooring, does a job for Jared. Just told him a little bit about me because he found out about
the arena talks.
The arena talks.
Uh-huh.
So he told Zach about the arena talks, and then Zach told him about me and was like, "Hey, I like this guy that's in my church, loves to share a story. He's got a good story." And so he had Chris meet with me, and I literally just like opened up and told Chris my story, and he was like, "Great, like, yeah, maybe you can do an arena talk, but like come work for us." And I was like, "Dude, I'm being honest with him. I have to be. I just relapsed like 2 months ago, and most treatment centers have very strict rules about people having a longer."
Yeah, 6 months, 12 months, something. Like, yeah.
And he was like, his and your guys's, or
ours,
y'all's.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I'll go there with you.
View of relapses is what a lot of people in recovery say, that's the stance that they take. It's a learning experience, but you guys showed me that through your actions, by hiring me, that's what you guys really believe. Put some action behind your words, which means so much to me, because of how authentic and genuine I've become. I don't have time anymore, dude.
Right. I
have no time. If you're not going to be real with me, you're completely wasting my time. I can honestly say there's nobody that I've met here that's not genuine, and that's not just like walking into the room. That's what I do in my spare time. Not my spare time, every moment of the day.
Totally.
I'm watching your eyes, your facial expression, and your body language.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody walks into the room as themselves, and that speaks volumes to me. I love it. I love being here. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so excited to talk.
Yeah, you are. I can tell.
Tell my story. See what words God's going to put in my mouth on Wednesday night.
Right?
It's going to be awesome.
So great to have you. Thank you for taking time to share you with me and with, I got to tell you, there's somebody who's listening who needs to hear this and who wants to hear it and will take actions differently because they got to listen to you.
Praise the Lord.
And as you're inspired by the great Lord above, if I am RTC, that's I am recovery at imrtc.com, may be of service, visit us on the web or give us a call at 801-407-9998 for authentic, real rockstar recovery. It's William, I will run you to the ground, acreage. And Shay, I will smoke you at soccer Aslet. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for listening and enjoying. Take care. Cheers.